I want to bring in former White House Press Secretary Ari Fleischer. He's with us this morning. Ari, you've been watching the proceedings all morning long. Seems to us, sitting here in New York, watching the tape, that it's a very successful meeting, that President Macron is indeed the new best friend of President Trump in Europe. I hear you're laughing. You're in agreement with that?
Well, he is right now. These things are subject to change. But there are two other things that I caught my ear in that news conference by the president. Number one, he seems to be indicating that we're going to stay in the Iran deal and that we're going to work something out with France. That was notable. I think if he was going to withdraw, his language would have been very different. Number two, he called Kim Jong-un honorable, which is a puzzling thing to say, to put it mildly. Kim Jong-un is not honorable. North Korea has not behaved honorably. And I don't know what the president was thinking when he says that, other than if it's a negotiating ploy to soften him up. That really raised my eyebrows.
But it could well be a negotiating ploy, a statement of position, buttering up your opponent. I mean, you could certainly say that, couldn't you? Staying on the right side of public opinion, sounding nice. I can understand that.
That's the only reason to do it, because there's no substantive reason to do it. Kim Jong-un and North Korea have violated every agreement they've made with the United States vis-a-vis their nuclear program, and they've been reckless and aggressive throughout the region, most recently last year threatening American islands in the Pacific Ocean with annihilation. So it was a puzzling thing to say. But Iran is really the bigger news to me here, because if the president and President Macron reach an agreement on how to toughen up the Iran deal, they still have to get China and Russia and Iran and other nations to go along with it. So this really seems to me still to be a stretch. I want to see what they come up with, if they do, and how they're going to possibly get it across the finish line.
I thought that the news that came out of this meeting so far, the big news, is that Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin is going to China in the next few days to negotiate on trade. I think that's a very big deal. How about you?
Yeah, you're right, Stuart. That's notable as well, of course. And there were rumors about that just days ago. Now it's official. And that's to the well and good. Obviously, this is one of the biggest issues we face. And here I think President Trump deserves credit for doing something that nobody previously would have done, which is using the threat of tariffs, something we all think are wrong things to impose, to achieve a negotiating good with China. And China has certainly been a bad player around the world when it comes to its actions and its behaving by international rules of trade. So very interesting development. Let's see what comes from such a meeting, but there's promise here.